AOC laughed at Senator Kennedy's accent, but then his next words left the entire room frozen. The hearing room in the Capitol was a pressure cooker, the air thick with anticipation and the sharp edge of political rivalry. Rows of polished mahogany desks gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights, and the low hum of whispered conversations filled the space. Reporters lined the back wall, their cameras trained on the days where elected officials sat, poised for the next viral moment. The atmosphere crackled with tension, as if the room itself knew a storm was brewing. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the fiery congresswoman from New York, sat confidently at her desk, her posture relaxed but her eyes sharp. She leaned back in her chair, a sly smirk curling her lips as she launched a pointed jab at Senator John Kennedy's thick Louisiana drawl. Her words dripped with mockery, each syllable carefully chosen to elicit laughter and assert dominance in the exchange. The room responded immediately. A ripple of chuckles spread through her allies on the left side of the aisle, their amusement fueling the moment. Staffers exchanged knowing glances, and a few younger members of the committee couldn't suppress their grins. The cameras zoomed in, capturing the wave of smug satisfaction that seemed to radiate from AOC's side of the room. To the onlookers, it was a classic political takedown. Kennedy, the older Southern senator with his folksy charm and deliberate cadence, appeared to be cornered, outmaneuvered by the quick-witted New Yorker. The moment felt scripted for the highlight reels, a soundbite destined to dominate social media by the evening.
But then, the mood shifted. Senator John Kennedy, his weathered face unreadable, leaned forward in his seat. The creak of his chair was barely audible, yet it seemed to command the room's attention. His hands, folded calmly on the desk, betrayed no hint of agitation. When he spoke, his voice was steady, deliberate, and laced with the same Southern cadence that had just been ridiculed. "Congresswoman," he began, drawing out the word with a pause so precise it seemed to freeze time. Every head in the room turned toward him, the laughter dying in their throats. "I may talk slow," he continued, his eyes glinting with a quiet intensity, "but that just gives me more time to think." The silence that followed was deafening. The once confident smirks on AOC's side of the aisle faltered, replaced by uncertain glances. The room, moments ago alive with mirth, now felt like a held breath. Kennedy wasn't merely defending his accent, he was turning it into a weapon, a symbol of his deliberate, grounded approach. He leaned forward slightly more, his gaze locking onto AOC with the precision of a seasoned debater. "And unlike you," he said, his voice low but carrying the weight of a sledgehammer, "I'd rather be clear than clever." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Whispers erupted among the spectators, their pens scratching furiously to capture the exchange. The laughter that had filled the air was gone, replaced by a tense, almost electric stillness. AOC, caught off guard, stared back at Kennedy. Her expression, once brimming with confidence, had stiffened, her eyes narrowing as she processed the shift in momentum. For the first time in the exchange, she wasn't the one steering the narrative. Kennedy, with his slow, measured words, had flipped the script. The weight of the moment hung in the air like a storm cloud. Reporters scribbled notes, their cameras whirring as they zoomed in on AOC's rigid posture and Kennedy's unflinching stare. The other committee members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, sensing the tide had turned. What had started as a light-hearted jab, a moment of political theater meant to score points, had transformed into something far more profound. Kennedy's response wasn't just a defense of his accent, it was a masterclass in turning a perceived weakness into strength. His words, delivered with the cadence of a Southern storyteller, carried a quiet power that resonated far beyond the room. As the seconds ticked by, the energy in the chamber remained altered. The exchange had become a reminder, etched into the minds of everyone present: never underestimate someone based on how they sound. Accents, mannerisms, and delivery might shape perceptions, but it's the substance of one's words, their clarity, their conviction, that leaves an indelible mark. Kennedy, with his slow drawl and unyielding resolve, had not only reclaimed the moment but had redefined it. And as the hearing moved forward, the room carried the weight of that lesson, a silent acknowledgement that true power lies not in clever quips, but in words that cut through the noise and endure.